For the first time in 46 years, the best of the best in the Sports Car Club of America return to the West Coast for the club's annual one-race battle for the title of champion in 27 classes. This year's three-day duel for the medals brings over 400 racers to California's Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca on the stunning Monterey Peninsula. It's time to seriously step up at the 2014 and 51st SCCA National Championship Runoffs.
Michael Lewis will be on pole. Kyle Kelly will start alongside in the 3. That's the upracing.com entry. It'll be a very fast front row. As the cars come out onto the racetrack, let's check in with Hayward Wagner.
If you're a fan of Trans Am, you're a fan of GT1. These are over 700 horsepower muscle cars, over a foot of rear tire on both rear corners. A lot of grip, a lot of power. These guys are going to have their hands full here at Laguna Seca with big, fast race cars.
No question about it. It ought to be a wild show for 20 laps or 40 minutes, whatever comes first, of course. First of our events here today. A couple of great races. Earlier we had T4 and B-Spec. That was a good show. And then Formula V, always wild, Randy. And coming out with GT1 is going to be very cool. Formula 5 will follow. Lewis and Kelly on the front row. Tom Smith from Springdale, Arkansas on the 62. That's a Corvette-bodied machine. USA Metal Recycling is the sponsor there. And Rob Davis from Modesto, California in the RDavisCPA.com Camaro. That's car number 95. Third row on the inside, Dane Smith from Springdale, Arkansas. The other USA Metal Recycling machine, that's a Corvette number 21. And Elmer Shannon from Oakland, California, the 07, the Special Holdings Gateway Recycling Chevrolet Camaro. Fourth row, Todd Peterson in the 26 from Boulder, Colorado. The Peterson Machining Ford Mustang. Ken Davis from Escondido, California will start 8th in the 65, the DavisStone.com Chevrolet Corvette. Back to row 5, Robert Rodriguez from Danville, California. The Turbo Hose is R&D. That's that Ford Noble that Randy was talking about earlier. And alongside starting 10th, John Blizzard from Bend, Oregon. 14 is the car number for Rombauer, the sponsor, and Chevrolet. That is the brand. It is a Camaro. 6th row, Robert Davis from Sonora, California. The Robert Davis CPA Pontiac Firebird. How long has it been since you've seen a Pontiac Firebird in Trans Am? Been a long time. Pontiacs haven't even been made. There's that Noble we were talking about a little while ago. Kind of looks like a Lotus, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's configured with a mid-engine. It's a much more modern style of racing chassis.
Check out the final couple of starters. James Cantrell from Tucson, Arizona, the Vintage Exotics Corvette. That's the 87. Richard Gray from Moore Park, California, the Range Realty Mazda RX-7, the 10 car. So Mazdas are eligible for Trans Am and for GT1 in certain configurations. That's what we have here. There's Lewis in that Jaguar. Outqualified the field, did Mike Grant, a 1:26.68 on day one of qualifying. He was more than a second quicker than Kyle Kelly. But Randy, we have seen in the first couple of days of these runoffs, fast qualifying times don't necessarily indicate race speed.
It's not just about the tire rack pull. And you're right. Although guess what? We're back to weather more like we had during the week.
Pretty warm here today.
Earlier in the weekend it was so chilly. And so I think these guys are going to have a little bit better idea what their setup ought to be. Mike Lewis, the big dog in a class of big dogs.
Yeah. A new sponsor on Mike's 12-car Redline Oil, one of his traditional backers, but his wife Peg has started a new business as well, and pretty awesome stuff. She has started kind of an eBay or a Craigslist for furniture. It's called Peg's List. You'll see that on the 12-car from Michael Lewis as well. Safety car is in, field out at turn 11, getting set to get going in this 2.25 mile layout at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. We are glad to have you with us. Final day of the 2014 SCCA National Championship Runoffs GT1. Seeing the green flag here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Kelly gets the drop on Lewis.
Lewis
has
dropping
a
like
problem.
a stone.
Wow.
Here we go again. Something broke.
Mike Lewis out of Poway, California, your pole qualifier, way slow.
And he hits the pit exit. He knows he's got a problem there. I'm thinking maybe gearbox because we're not seeing smoke.
Came off the final corner, gassed it, and you can see by the middle of the front straightaway he had a problem. So Kyle Kelly takes off with the lead in the first lap of action here in GT1.
Look at that. Mike Lewis pulls it to the side in the dirt in a safe location. He is done. Amazing.
Mike, a national board member of SCCA for many years, a great competitor professionally in the Trans Am ranks for a long time. Had the privilege of calling one or two of his Trans Am Series wins over the years, and the shame that he will not see the checkered flag apparently today. So Kelly is your leader in the 3. Rob Davis in the 95. Tom Smith in the 62. There's one of the Camaros. Of course, much like Trans Am, these cars get to run the big high wings behind the rear body.
It's a spec wing. Everybody has the same one. but they need it to help put the power down. That wing is like an airplane upside down. It's pushing down on the back tires to increase grip. The faster you go, the better it works.
Absolutely. Out of the corkscrew, that's Elmer Shannon in the 07. Now he should be scored 4th. Next time by, he's got his hands full there. Dane Smith right behind him in the 21.
He's all over him. I think Dane Smith is quicker, and he's looking for a way by. Let's see how the horsepower lines up on the straight.
Into turn 11. Coming around to complete lap number 1 of 20 here at GT1, the National Championship 2014 SCCA Runoffs. And Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Good battle for position up the front stretch.
These GT1 cars probably get the highest speeds of anything on this front straightaway. I'm going to guess they're in excess of 150 miles an hour.
You would think so here at some tracks like Road America. Straightaway speeds in excess of 185, not uncommon down the front straightaway there. Watching the action a little further back in the pack here in GT1. Kyle Kelly is your leader. He's opened up 5.5 seconds on Rob Davis, who runs second in the 95. That's Davis right there. He's about to get past, it looks like, for second. Tom Smith in the 62. Looks like Davis may have a problem. He seems to be off the pace.
Something funny happened there. Maybe missed a gear. Let's see if he can get back up to the pace.
Davis out of Modesto, California, offline. A couple of cars offline coming up that short straight. Now, why would, in these high horsepower cars, Randy, why would you want to go driver's left going up the hill there?
I have no idea.
That's
honestly.
not the normal racing line there.
That looks really odd. Maybe somebody dropped some fluid on the first lap or two, and they're avoiding it.
Rob Davis in the 95, dropping back to third. Tom Smith getting by him. That's Smith exiting the corkscrew at the bottom there, the 07 of Elmer Shannon, your 4th place car. Let's get downstairs to pit road. Hayward Wagner, what's going on?
Guys, just had a chance to chat with Mike Lewis's crew. The answer, gearbox. Ask them if this was something they were worried about. They said it was completely out of the blue.
What a heartbreaker.
Yeah.
And maybe that's where his oil went.
Could be.
It looks as though they're sliding around pretty good. Not unusual for these powerful cars. Also, the GT1 cars are just so stressed with that 700 or 800 horsepower that things can break. It's not unusual to see some mechanical issues crop up, and we've already seen several cars having problems.
Kyle Kelly continues to lead. Take a look at the 62 car running second. That's Tom Smith's Camaro out of Springdale, Arkansas. Dane Smith in the 21 running third. Rob Davis back down to 4th. Now we're getting word that he may have dropped a cylinder. Here's your race leader, Kelly, in car number 3 from Huntington Beach, California. An occasional competitor in Trans Am with that machine.
What I think we're seeing here is it as much of an endurance race as it is a speed race.
Yeah.
You've got to get these monsters to the finish line. Keep getting that 750 horsepower to the ground without breaking something.
Absolutely.
Poor little transmission, it was just too much.
45 miles. Now normally in Trans Am competition you're running 100 miles. So these cars that have that experience of racing on the pro side in Trans Am, you certainly think the cars and the teams and the drivers are capable of seeing the finish in one of these cars. But in this situation, these of course are club racing entries primarily, and the stage you're on here for a national championship, as we talked about it the last couple of days, when you have one race to determine everything for your season, sometimes you may push the envelope a little too hard on setup.
Absolutely you do. You bring everything you got and you go for it. As we're looking at this Noble sandwiched between a couple of the more conventional Trans Am cars of the class, that's Elmer Shannon, who's really under attack by the Noble of Robert Rodriguez.
Ken Davis back there in the 65 as well. 5th, 6th, and 7th in play right now. The Corvette pulling away down the straightaway. Just a horsepower move, I think, out of 11, right?
Yeah, but it looks like the Noble's got it too.
The mid-engine Noble, the 48 to the inside. Rodriguez picks up 5th spot. A little push coming off the corner, but the car seems to be a lot more nimble.
It does. He's a mid-engine, and he's able to turn that car right underneath that front-engine Corvette.
So Rodriguez with a nice move around the 07, moves into the top 5. Make it the top 4 now. Shannon giving way to 4th spot. Top 3 are Kyle Kelly in the 3, Tom Smith in the 62, Dane Smith in the 21. Elmer Shannon giving up 4th spot. That's Rodriguez, and he's starting to pull away now. Shannon holds on to 5th in front of the 65 of Ken Davis.
Ken looks like he's got something for Shannon. It shouldn't be long.
No, it does not appear that way. Elmer Shannon apparently fighting things with the 07, and he may have a problem coming up the hill. We may have had another car drop a cylinder or develop some other sort of problem, as there's a position change right there.
Like I say, it's an endurance race getting these monsters to the finish line, Rick.
Ken Davis moving around to take over the top 5 position that Elmer Shannon had been holding on to. So shuffle Shannon back to 6th.
Rick, why do they run 358 cubic inches? Why that number?
Well, years ago in Trans Am, the series decided that they would go to the NASCAR engine configuration to make it less expensive for teams. Those engines are widely available, a lot of different builders for them. You could buy used engines and get them freshened and have them be competitive, and Trans Am has stuck with that rule, and I think the national rules on the amateur side were crafted to follow in GT1 so that those cars could be eligible on both sides. Equipment is available on the used market more readily.
Seems like a funny number. There must be some perfect bore and stroke.
Yeah, I think so. I think you had years, and that engine size has been a part of NASCAR for, gosh, I'm going to say 30 years.
No kidding.
6-liter motors, yeah, exactly.
I'm a road racer.
Yeah, that's not the area you
tell?
hang out in normally. We hang out on both sides of the fence customarily in the course of a normal year. Kyle Kelly putting down some great laps. Last time a 1:29.7. He's about a second, well, making about 4/10 quicker than Tom Smith, but he is pulling away. He's got a 10-second lead for Kelly now as we put lap number 5 on the board. Running order top of your screen, courtesy of our friends at Mazda. Keep track of where your favorite driver runs in the GT1 National Championship here at Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca. For Kelly, it's all about maintaining pace and staying out of trouble.
Yes, it is, and we can see it in his lap times. His best lap is the fastest lap of the race, almost 2 seconds quicker than second place man Tom Smith. But his last lap was only 1 second quicker than the second place man. So I think he's taking it just a little bit easy, not really easy, because a 1:30 or 1:29.0 around here is flying. But he's not on his 1:27 pace of earlier.
Doesn't need to be.
Except he still wiggles it on the curb coming out of 3. There's a lot of power.
Yeah, as you mentioned earlier at the top of the broadcast, Randy Popes, these cars make so much horsepower. A good GT1 engine, 750 horsepower, not a problem at all. You've got to be so gentle on the throttle at a place like this.
And I was speaking with Ken Davis, his crew chief, Tom, and Tom said that, yeah, they run NASCAR engines. They kind of get them like one race old and 1/10 the price.
Yeah. You buy an engine that was maybe one of last year's, and there's that weird line again, going hard left up the hill.
Fascinating.
These cars are fast, but they're not the fastest cars in the paddock this weekend. I wouldn't think you'd need that for a line going in there, would you?
I am dying to know what's going on. I do that when I'm avoiding oil that I saw somebody drop on track.
And we may have had that happen. We've had a couple of cars fall off the pace, and it certainly looked as though the 62 was a little loose coming out of the corkscrew, so there may be moisture down on the racetrack. That's certainly possible. This is your second place car, Tom Smith out of Springdale, Arkansas. One of the USA Metals cars. Dane Smith, obviously related, also from Springdale, Arkansas on the Corvette. Running third, that's car number 21.
I love seeing the flames that come out of that car. So often on the D-cell, they have carburetors, and the carbs being a little bit more antique.
They'll pump fuel.
Yeah, even on the D-cell, or you give it a couple of pumps for the downshift, matching revs, flames out the sides, makes for a great show.
Dane Smith, your third place runner in that Corvette, the 21. And the difference in speed between the second and third place cars and the 95, in trouble. Rob Davis, who had started up front, ran in the first couple of spots, the first lap or two, seemed to have dropped the cylinder, and now it looks like he is dead stick on the racetrack. We've got a local yellow.
He's in kind of a bad place there,
I
though,
would
halfway
say,
up the hill to the corkscrew.
And with half of your race car over the curbing there, that's not a good place to be.
Yeah, one thing about Mike Lewis, we saw him tuck that car beautifully back in behind a wall in a safe location. Unfortunately, Rob Davis not able to find a place to get completely out of the way. He was trying to get to the top of that hill.
Yeah.
If you can get to the corkscrew, you can coast all the way to the pits. Still with that funny line swerving to the far left.
Full course caution, the call coming down from race control. So it looks as though with 6 laps on the board, we will bring out the safety car. Davis's 95 will be the issue there that'll have to go and get rescued, and we'll try to figure out what's going on. Tom and Dane Smith both trying to use that weird approach going up the hill out of 5.
Maybe they're just trying to confuse us.
Perhaps.
You know, these guys,
we are easily confused, aren't we?
They're fun guys, you know, and they're just trying to give us a hard time. Give us something to wonder about and scratch our heads, because I'm having trouble unless they just suspect that something was spilled over there. That seems most likely.
All right, as we watch this field group up under caution, safety car headed out onto the racetrack, picking up Kyle Kelly as your race leader. 7 laps of 20 are complete. We'll step away for a moment, come right back with plenty more for 2014 SCCA National Championship Runoffs.
The 2014 SCCA National Championship Runoffs are being brought to you in HD by Mazda. Conviction, creativity, courage. This is the Mazda way. And by Hankook, driving emotion.
Some people go to enormous lengths in the name of safety, like the inventor of the flame-resistant racing suit, Bill Simpson. Courageous engineering is also the Mazda way, and why the 2014 Mazda 3 has an available class-exclusive suite of 8 safety features and a top safety rating. Because when it comes to safety, you can never go too far. This is the 2014 Mazda 3. What do you drive?
This is Kenny. Kenny is a dentist, but he races autocross on the weekends. But he's not thinking about his tires right now. Kenny buys all his tires from TireRack.com. Using their exclusive test track reviews, he knows he's always getting the right tires for his car. But Kenny's not thinking about tires right now. Kenny's thinking, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. This is awesome. TireRack.com, proud sponsor of the Tire Rack SCCA National Solo Program.
The machines and their manufacturers span the planet. This is no spec series. Diversity breeds excellence and brings battle. Ride with the best and test the iconic circuits of North America. No pit stops, no quarter. The world watches and knows this is how racing should be.
Back live at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, coverage of the 2014 SCCA National Championship Runoffs alongside Randy Pobst. I'm Rick Benjamin. On pit road for us is Hayward Wagner. And Randy, we may have an answer to the question of this race. Why were we seeing some of the front-running GT1 cars coming out of turn 5 instead of staying right side of the road, which would be the normal line as you head towards 6, cutting left? Turns out that, and we had this happen yesterday, they're measuring sound levels in that area, and we're getting some indication that perhaps these drivers of these big booming V8 engine GT1 machines want to stay as far away from that measuring device as possible.
Now that makes sense, Rick, because there's noise regulations here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, which is a park, and it's California, and there's a residential neighborhood on that hill across the way there with some very, very fine homes. And it's strict. Yesterday we saw a heartbreaker for the Wills entry, leading in Formula Mazda. Black flag due to too much noise, too much sound, right out of the lead, and that's just a killer. So the Smiths, who are undoubtedly related with the same sponsors and both from Springdale, Arkansas, go Hogs, they're swerving left to avoid that sound meter. We had a little. That's a good one, Rick. You figured it out.
The field moving left, going up the hill.
Even under yellow.
And we're hearing from race control that Tom Smith, who's been running in second spot, has been seeing a black flag for violating the sound restriction, which is being measured over there between 5 and 6. Hayward, what are you hearing on pit road?
Guys, I was just in the tent with the black flag stewards. They are going to be displaying the black flag to the second place runner right now for sound. And I tell you, there is a lot of unhappy faces in that tent. This is not something officials enjoy doing.
I understand, again, we talked about this earlier in the weekend when it happened yesterday in Formula Mazda. I understand the regulations locally. I understand the need to protect the residents of a racetrack area. We've run mufflers on race cars for a long, long time now. It seems as though this is one of those cases where you would like to just have everybody have the proper equipment so that there was never an issue with this. You could race, run for your national championship, not worry about something as almost unrelated to running the race and the race car as the sound level you put out.
Right, it's a reality of today's world.
Yeah. Tom Smith pulling off with that black flag. So this will put Dane Smith up into second right behind Kyle Kelly, your restart leader as we begin lap number 9. Let's see what happens here.
Dane Smith up from 5th to second place. And you know what? I would not count Tom Smith out of it yet. Another yellow, He's a quick car. He could be back in this race. There's so much happening in the 24 minutes of Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca.
Yeah.
It's like an endurance race.
Certainly could happen that way. And we take a look at that Noble, Robert Rodriguez in the 40, and I like the look of that car. He is really starting to fly now. Only qualified 9th, but he's done a masterful job with that car, Randy.
Wow, up to 3rd. Interesting variety that a car like the Noble adds to this class. It's a mid-engine turbocharged car running against the big V8s.
Up the hill into 6, battling for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. A good fight back there. Rodriguez with a couple of good moves, taking advantage of some attrition. Ken Davis in the 65 is 4th. Elmer Shannon, the 07 in 5th. Todd Peterson in the 26 running 6th, and that group into the corkscrew.
Wow, he's quick through the corkscrew.
You'd think, right?
That mid-engine configuration is really good for changing direction quickly. Low polar moment, all the weight's over the rear axle.
Talked to some of the competitors in some of our earlier events today. Front drive cars, in some drivers' views, have been great. We saw an Acura Integra win an event yesterday. Others have said, no, the front drive cars are really at a disadvantage. Now, this is a mid-engine car. Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, a place where handling is crucial. The lighter and more nimble a race car you have, you would think you'd have a real advantage.
Yes, and there's another advantage to a turbocharged car. The Noble is a turbo V6, and it has turbos act like a muffler.
Yeah.
Turbocharged cars are quieter than non-turbocharged cars in general. So he may have a sound advantage too.
Because you're taking exhaust pressure and using it to turn the turbo.
Yes, sir. And another reason the GT1 cars have a bigger problem with this, look how low they are.
Yeah.
Historically, the exhaust systems actually run through the car in the passenger side, and they come out on the right. Look at that pipe.
Yeah.
Pointed right at the sound meter, which happens to be on the right.
You'd almost wonder if teams may not have thought much about this, if you'd had the chance to really think about it and re-engineer. As Smith comes back on the racetrack, he's been cleared to be able to return. Would you have re-engineered your car, reconfigured the exhaust system, and run the pipes out the left side?
Rick, there's been a lot of that going on throughout the paddock. I see all kinds of creative muffler solutions in the different classes that run, but it's really difficult to find another place for the mufflers on a GT1 car. They're huge and they're hot, and it's just not easy to turn them around.
Yeah, header temps can be well over 1,000 degrees, so you got to be very careful where you put a muffler in a race car.
And I assure you, these drivers were warned well ahead of time, but it's just not easy, because not only is sound coming out of that tailpipe, it's coming out of the other end. They've got intake noise on the carburetor end of the engine.
Battling for position here, 3rd and 4th in play, the 65 of Ken Davis. The other Davis car back on the racetrack now.
Locks
and he is under
wheel.
attack. Yeah, now we believe that Noble also has independent rear suspension. You would think he'd be fine up there in turn 2, but he seems to be really pushing wide.
Could have been a downshift that locked that inside rear on his way down into the corner, but he's getting the pressure.
Kenneth Davis right behind him in the 65. Davis out of Escondido, California. Putting plenty of pressure now on Rodriguez for 3rd spot. Shannon's still in this thing, the 07, the blue and white car back there.
That's the truth. We've seen that Noble look like he's going to drive away, and then all of a sudden he's back in it again.
The other Smith entry here, the 62, back on the racetrack, nearly off. It looked like there was a little problem in turn 11. Tom Smith back on the racetrack, a lap down now, but still shown 9th here in GT1.
That Noble's so powerful in carrying most of its weight on the back axle. It looks like it's doing a wheelie when it comes over some of those rises here at Mazda Raceway, like on the front straight turn 1 and then halfway up the hill to the corkscrew.
You've driven a lot of different things over the years. Talk to me a little bit about the challenge of racing a car that's unique in a category. Sometimes it can be a big advantage, but developing this car for racing's got to be tough because there's probably no book on how you make one of those cars competitive in GT.
That's the truth. I'm sure that this driver is doing a lot of engineering himself. He and his team are creating this race car, and that actually is part of the fun, part of the enjoyment in a lot of the SCCA classes, is developing your own car and working on it. I mean, I liked it just putting an anti-sway bar on a car and making it work. I've enjoyed that when I was doing SCCA club racing.
Love to see what happens over the course of these 20-lap, 45-mile sprint races. A challenge for Kyle Kelly may be building here. 12 laps on the board, 8 to go. Dane Smith right there in the 21, the USA Metal Corvette, up the hill, starting to close the gap on Kelly a little bit. 2.7 seconds last time.
Bravely driving straight up the hill.
Yeah, saying, okay, I think I'm good. I'm going to go ahead and challenge.
The distance does help with the sound.
Sure,
the further
absolutely.
away you are, it dissipates a little bit just in the air.
Even if it's only 20 feet, it might make a difference.
Yes, it helps.
But in this case, if you're Dane Smith and you think, okay, my team car's already been black flagged for this, am I going to roll the dice here and try to win this race, be as fast as I can, and run the risk of being DQ'd?
Something I've often done is I do a shift right in front of the sound meter,
Aha.
maybe a slow one. There are ways to try to do what you can to make your noise levels stay legal.
Very creative stuff.
Power
Dane Smith in the
oversteer.
21, yeah, a little sideways coming out of 11. Let's see what happens here. The gap between he and Kelly as the two leaders put another lap on the board. Coming up the hill.
I love power oversteer. It's really cool seeing them break them free coming off a corner. It's not good for the race car.
No.
It's actually slower to light them up, but it looks cool, and it's actually fun. It's
Here-
a little drifting action.
I think so, absolutely. Now, here's what happens. On the radio, Kyle Kelly hears from his crew undoubtedly, hey, your lead's starting to shrink, pick up the pace. He knocks off a 1:29.7 and picks 3 seconds back up on Dane Smith. So the lead back up quickly to 5 seconds.
Wow, that's impressive.
And we're hearing that Dane Smith, who has disdained the move to go to the inside coming up the hill, just got a sound warning from officials.
Wow, so a lot of strategies at play in the GT1 category between the reliability and the sound. It's like the handling and the racing are even lower down the priority list to winning in this class.
I'm just stunned by the fact that you have to actually factor that in as well. And again, you know, it may be a case of where the team didn't really think much about whether it would be a problem for them. Maybe they could or could not have reconfigured the exhaust coming in. We don't know for sure, but just to have that be a factor in your bid for a national championship seems a shame to me.
It's another rule, and we have to race by the rules, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And he who wins has done the best job of interpreting them and working around those rules.
Very true, very true. That is certainly part of the landscape in this kind of racing as well as every other form of motorsport. Challenging for position here, still Rodriguez running third. Right behind him is Davis in the 65, and this might be for the silver medal as things heat up here, because Dane Smith, as we have told you, has been warned for exceeding the sound level over there on the straightaway between turns 5 and 6.
And we've seen that's serious business, and Ken Davis has got something for that Noble.
Yeah.
This is a race. It's a 3-car race, I'll tell you.
Yeah, the 07 of Elmer Shannon, certainly not out of this thing at all. You've got 3 California drivers, Rodriguez from Danville, Davis from Escondido, Shannon from Oakland. Running 3rd, 4th, and 5th at the one with second place car. Dane Smith is his machine out of Arkansas. About 6.5 seconds now behind Kyle Kelly. So Smith evidently deciding hanging on to second and avoiding the black flag would be a better outcome than challenging for the lead and perhaps getting busted.
It's also a problem to run close to other cars, as we see some real action from Ken Davis. Sure, the more cars there are, the more sound there is.
And singling out the one that's the offending car might be hard to do.
You can get in trouble if you're on the borderline and you're right next to another guy. It might kick you over the top. I see that Noble Rodriguez getting a little bit defensive.
Yeah.
He's quick out of that corkscrew, though.
Using up a fair amount of racetrack, all correct, certainly doing the right thing there, but when you make your car wide, you can take away lines from the car behind you.
That's right, and I think Rodriguez is feeling the heat. It looks like the guys behind him have caught him. They're quicker, and we'll see if they can figure out how to get around him.
Turbo Works, the sponsor on the 48, good-looking race car. Now here comes Davis to the inside. He's going to challenge Rodriguez for position. This is for 3rd. 5 laps to go for this group of cars. Leader has already seen the 5 to go sign here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca.
Davis and the Corvette got the jump off the corner. Noble able to pull out a little bit near the end of the straight. The Noble's good at the end of the straight.
Elmer Shannon right there as well, sitting in 5th spot on the 07, thinking, hey, if these two guys take each other out, I could cash in.
You never know what might happen, because Ken Davis is close enough to make a move. He needs a little break. Whoops.
Oh, to the inside. Rodriguez with a problem. Rodriguez perhaps missing his shift coming off the corner there.
Wow, he just did not get turned in.
He dropped speed quickly. He is off the pace now.
Yeah, he's got some trouble. The endurance race continues in GT1 at Mazda Raceway.
a twin-turboed Ford motor, V6, and sometimes when you have the only piece of a certain kind of technology in the field, sometimes reliability can be an issue.
Turbos put a lot of stress on an engine,
Yeah.
and it's not unusual to see them be more difficult to keep running correctly. It's just really odd the way he ran wide in that one corner. Almost like maybe he was a little distracted. Maybe he had an issue inside the car.
The way he slowed in the corner, I thought perhaps he missed a shift. Back up front, meantime, Kyle Kelly has led all the way since Mike Lewis, the pole sitter, had to take his car to the garage area off the initial start with the gearbox problem. Kelly from the outside pole got the drop on Lewis as they came up the hill, but we know now it was because of Lewis having a mechanical issue. Kelly long gone at this point, lead now 11.5 seconds over Dane Smith in the 21, who continues to run second.
Kyle Kelly looking really clean up there.
Yeah.
Just hooked up. The car's running good. He's having a great day thus far, but it ain't over until he drives under that checkered flag.
Working lap 17 of 20. No issue with the time situation. Remember, we're under a 40-minute time limit. Mazda running order top of your screen. Keep tabs on where your favorite GT1 driver is running. In trouble for one of the Smith cars. That's the 62. That's the car that was busted for a sound violation earlier in the race while he was running up in the top 5. The 62 car, the machine of Tom Smith from Springdale, Arkansas, back in 9th. He gets it pointed in the right direction, gets back on the racetrack.
He's taking a pylon with him.
Man.
Reminds me of my autocross days. He probably had a hairy moment there coming out of turn 9, dropped him in the dirt or something, picked up one of these cones, and he's now grinding it to a pulp.
There it is. There it is.
Oh, got a little debris.
You and I think you've probably seen the same thing I have, where sometimes those get awarded in a trophy ceremony at some point. Maybe a little piece of tape put on them. The offending driver. I've collected a few, so
I've collected a few too, and look at this, they've got a slalom on the front straight at Mazda Raceway.
No, and our corner workers are terrific. We couldn't do this without the SCCA's hundreds and hundreds of volunteers at this event, and the corner workers who put in great service. Want to give a shout out certainly to our flagman. Ralph Hunter is the official starter for GT1. He's from the Oregon region of the Sports Car Club of America. Ralph, we appreciate your service today. Nobody in their right mind is going to run out and grab that cone during this event.
I don't think so, but I guarantee you that cone's heavy enough to break the nose on one of these cars.
The splitter, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the drivers do not want to be hitting it. It's a little hairy for Kyle Kelly now, catching some of the cars in the back of the pack because he might surprise them. Back there, they're probably looking at their gauges, you know, doing their job, driving the car, and all of a sudden the leader shows up. Although the corner workers will definitely be waving a blue flag, which kind of means check your mirrors.
Yeah.
The warning flags. But still, oftentimes, it comes as a big surprise.
Kyle Kelly unchallenged up front in GT1. Looks as though he's headed to the gold medal performance here today when we see the podium ceremonies in what'll be a few minutes from now. They'll get the 2 to go sign next time by. Your second place car, Dane Smith, back on the button again, fastest lap of the day with a 134 for Dane Smith last time by, and Kenneth Davis in the 65, a 132.6. So some of these drivers a little further back in the field, knocking off some nice laps here late in the going. As we take a look at these, and we mentioned a Firebird in the field. That was the 81 that you saw there as he was being put a lap down. 7th for Robert Davis out of Sonora, California. So hats off to Robert Davis. Not many Firebirds in competition these days, but Davis campaigning 1 in GT1.
And he keeps moving up by surviving.
Yeah.
Because of the old, you finish first, you must first finish. If you just make it to the finish line, you're going to beat a lot of drivers by being there. It looks like that Noble had been kind of hurting the pace of Ken Davis because he's really moving now that he's gotten around it.
The 87 car also going a lap down to the leaders. That's James Cantrell from Tucson, Arizona. That is a Corvette-bodied entry as well in GT1. Here comes the 21 car of your second place entry, Dane Smith out of Arkansas.
Oh, no!
Oh, no! Smith loses the car into the barrier just very slightly. I don't think he actually touched the tires, but he is in the gravel.
Ooh, that's going to be Harry
right
pulling
side
out
of the
there.
road, yeah. He's trying to get it refired, and there's that fuel being dumped into the headers.
Reminds me of the Wizard of Oz, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. And so now the 65 car moves up a spot, and Ken Davis will move into second position with the attrition there with Dane Smith's spin.
This is an endurance race,
It is.
Rick. And it ain't over.
Not a bit.
Oh my gosh, you're so surprising. Dane Smith running so good. And going under a lap car, he just got it too tight and turned that thing around.
So So Kenneth Davis in the 65 car, the beneficiary of that mistake, that unforced error there by Dane Smith in the 21. Shannon in the 07 moving up into third spot. This is the 65 car of Ken Davis, who he will take over second spot here. And the white flag being shown, the race leader Kyle Kelly. Smith in the 21 spinning out of second. So your second place car, Davis, quite a ways behind, sees the white flag up on the flag stand of the driver's left as they come up the hill, heading toward turn 1.
Past that pylon.
Which kind of marks the racing line. Stay right of it. You're set up perfectly for one.
One more lap for these guys in this endurance event in GT1 at Mazda Raceway. We only got a half a lap for Kyle Kelly to bring it home. He's probably hearing those noises and smelling those smells. Make you paranoid on the last lap, and you hope you get that baby home.
Kyle Kelly unchallenged in GT1 today here at the 2014 SCCA National Championship Runoffs at Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca in beautiful Monterey, California. Boy, we talked all week about how great the weather has been here. We had that fog delay yesterday morning, not uncommon in this area at this racetrack. Today, I got up early, of course, and took a look outside, saw that it was clear, and I thought, wow, we're staying in Monterey, and I thought, wow, this is fantastic. Get here, and it is, talk about Chamber of Commerce weather, back to summer.
Warming up today, and it's actually going to be a little tougher on the cars and drivers, and Kyle Kelly is just about to win this endurance race.
Kyle Kelly slides it out of the final corner. He'll dust the crew down the front straightaway, miss the cone, and take the checkered flag. Kyle Kelly is your national champion in GT1 at the 2014 SCCA National Championship Runoffs. The gap back to second, a good 30 seconds, so it'll take a while for Ken Davis in the 65 to cross the line. Elmer Shannon should be on pace to take home third. There's that Firebird of Davis, the 81 car.
Oh, yeah, and I love that power oversteer, too.
Yeah.
Kick it sideways. Let's go. Come on, Robert.
Here comes your second place car, Ken Davis in the 65 out of Escondido, California. And then Elmer Shannon in the 07 out of Oakland, California. He will finish third today in GT1 at Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca.
Well, and Ken Davis, I think, scored some good karma by filling me in on the GT1 class when I visited with him and his team right before the race. Happy to see a great finish for him.
Battle for position at the stripe there. The 21 of Dane Smith, the 26 of Todd Peterson, and we'll see as scoring updates at lap 20. Peterson does get credit for fifth. Dane Smith's bid falls just a hair short.
Wow.
By literally 13 1/1000ths of a second, trying to get into the top 5. Peterson hangs on to fifth. Dane Smith fly. I'm not sure Peterson knew that he was under attack there, but Peterson in that Mustang, the 26 car, manages to grab a top 5. So your podium finishers, Kelly in the 3, your winner. Davis in the 65 is second. Shannon in the 07 will get credit for third spot. So Kyle Kelly on his cool down lap will head to pit road.
He's driving in some funny spots on the racetrack. Around the outside, we saw him off almost in the dirt.
Yeah.
And I know what he's up to. He's trying to pick up some of the rubber nubbies that come off and sit on the outside of the track. And they pile up on the tires and it raises the ride height. Like, see that dirt? He's trying to get his tires dirty so he won't have a problem in tech with his ride height. Probably.
Really?
Either that or he's celebrating so hard that he's drunk with enthusiasm.
The gamesmanship of some of these drivers is amazing. Kyle Kelly dominates, and he wins the GoPro Hero of the Race Award after starting on the outside pole. So Kyle Kelly in the 3 car is your winner in GT1 today. Coming up for us, Formula 5 in just a couple of moments. And we will get Hayward Busy down on pit road there to talk to the top couple of finishers in GT1. And for Kelly, you know, it's a different kind of challenge. When you know you've got a field covered, Randy, and it's really your race to lose, that puts a whole different mindset on the driver, doesn't it?
It does, because what we saw today in GT1 was an endurance event.
Yeah.
It was all about finishing.
And Kyle Kelly finishes fast and first. Hayward is standing by to talk to him.
Kyle Kelly, yesterday it was 0.04 of a second in T2. Today it's almost 30 seconds in GT1. How does it feel to take a national championship here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca?
It feels real good. Had a good time. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened to Lewis, but it looks like he broke on the start. And, you know, I just tried to keep the car under me until the end of the race.
You were able to pull out a really good margin there. Was this just an opportunity to get into a groove and chip away at it?
Yeah, exactly. I was just trying to manage the tires and the brakes the best I could in case somebody came up behind me. I could at least put up a good effort to defend the position. But, you know, we just got lucky and got track position and was able to hold on to it.
Now, while you were able to be out front, so there was some drama behind you with sound, some of the guys in the class, can you talk at all about the challenges of keeping a GT1 car under the sound limit here at the racetrack?
Yeah, it's pretty hard when you're pushing 850 horsepower, 5-inch exhaust pipe. You know, there's not much you can do. We had difficulty in qualifying with sound, but when I got a gap, I was short shifting out of 5 and pulling away from the sound meter just to make sure I had that extra little bit of margin there.
Well, congratulations, sir. We're going to let you take one more lap around the track, this time with a checkered flag in your hand. Stepping back one more position, this is Ken Davis. Ken, it looked like you guys had a heck of a good race going for what looked like it could have been anywhere from 2nd to 5th, depending on what happened in front of you. How was your seat?
That was a blast. Had a lot of fun. Once I got by that Moser, I think it was. I think it's pretty quick. It was a lot of fun.
It looked like that car had great legs on the straightaway, but you guys were really able to reel him in. How did that pass come about?
He basically blew the corner in turn 3.
So waiting for the mistake, staying clean. A great drive for you for a silver medal here on the Runoffs podium.
Thank you.
All right, one more. This is going to be Elmer Shannon, and this is just a beautiful car. Elmer is. We're going to let him climb out of it real quick. If we can get Elmer, let's talk to you before you jump out of the car, if you don't mind. 3rd place here at the National Championship Runoffs, an all-California podium here. Talk to me about it.
You know, look, all this week, there were a lot of conditions out here. We did about 3 or 4 different setups on the car. We actually had a cracked header, as I lost 100 horsepower right there for the half of the race. You know, I really want to just thank my sponsors, Spectra Holding, Eatman Racing, and Safe Movers, which is my own company. I want to thank everybody here because it's been a wonderful runoff. I mean, here in California, I got a chance to experience the majors and other areas. They were very wonderful there as well. But to be here and to be on the podium is a lifelong dream for me.
Well, congratulations to you, sir. When did you know that you had a shot to be on the podium? There was a lot of stuff going on in this race, a lot of shuffling. Did you have crew contact telling you where you were at?
After the yellow, I basically counted the number of cars in front. When I knew that we had to get past the Noble. I knew that had to happen. And then when I saw Dane on the side, I knew we had a shot at that point. So then I was just trying to close in as best as I could on the number 2 guy. But I really didn't know until after I crossed the finish line and my crew told me for sure that we had done it.
Well, big congratulations to you guys. This is a lifelong dream come true for Emil Shannon, putting his car on the podium here at the SCCA National Championship Runoffs.
All right, nicely done. Good to see the top 3, Elmer Shannon, Ken Davis in 2nd, and Kyle Kelly, your national champion. They'll be headed to Tech, and they'll be headed to the podium to also to receive their honors in front of the media assembled here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Kyle Kelly with one of his crew members looks like riding along with that checkered flag on a victory lap. So nicely done all the way around.
And Ken Davis, our 2nd place driver, all the way up from 8th.
Yeah.
I'll bet you he's going to be the Sunoco hard charger. Got to get the computers out and do all the calculations on that. But boy, he had a good race and just kept moving up as people had problems. He passed some cars. He just performed really, really well. But Kyle Kelly, just playing clean and green.
Yeah.
Had a beautiful run out front in what is obviously a very well-prepared Chevy Corvette. Huge surprise in the class when Michael Lewis had that mechanical transmission let go on him right on the start of the race. And I got to say, Michael Lewis, great job of getting out of the way. He went to the pit lane exit and then rolled the car back behind the wall, so it didn't cause a yellow. That's heads-up driving.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we congratulate the key competitors in GT1 here today as Kyle Kelly continues to take the checkered flag around on his victory lap. We'll show you the top 10. Kelly, your winner. Davis and Shannon, we heard from in 2nd and 3rd. Really liked what Elmer Shannon had to say as well, you know, kind of knowing how important this race was to him as he ran the SCCA Majors this year, brings the car here, lifelong dream to get on the podium at the Runoffs, and he has accomplished that. Robert Rodriguez back up to speed after what looked to me like a misshift, don't know for sure, in that mid-engine machine. The 48 car ends up in 4th in front of Todd Peterson. Dane Smith takes home 6th after having to come to pit road. Robert Davis, James Cantrell, Tom Smith in the 62, and Rob Davis in the 95, who had problems on lap number 6. So there you see it, a little burnout up the hill by Kelly. Doesn't need those tires anymore after his win today.
Donut time, victory donuts. Beautiful thing.
So a great job by Kyle Kelly, your national champion in 2014 at these SCCA National Championship Runoffs in GT1. For Randy Popes, Hayward Wagner, I'm Rick Benjamin. Hope you enjoyed our coverage. We'll be back shortly with Formula 5 action.
Following post-race technical inspection, the third-place car was found to be out of compliance. This awarded the final podium position to Robert Rodriguez.
The 2014 SCCA National Championship Runoffs are being brought to you in HD by Mazda. Conviction, creativity, courage. This is the Mazda way. And by Hankook, driving emotion.
Some people go to enormous lengths in the name of safety, like the inventor of the flame-resistant racing suit, Bill Simpson. Courageous engineering is also the Mazda way, and why the 2014 Mazda 3 has an available class-exclusive suite of 8 safety features and a top safety rating. Because when it comes to safety, you can never go too far. This is the 2014 Mazda 3. What do you drive?
This is Kenny. Kenny is a dentist, but he races autocross on the weekends. But he's not thinking about his tires right now. Kenny buys all his tires from TireRack.com. Using their exclusive test track reviews, he knows he's always getting the right tires for his car. But Kenny's not thinking about tires right now. Kenny's thinking, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. This is awesome. TireRack.com, proud sponsor of the Tire Rack SCCA National Solo Program.
Machines and their manufacturers span the planet. This is no spec series. Diversity breeds excellence and brings battle. Ride with the best and test the iconic circuits of North America. No pit stops,